Welcome to the First Round Fantasy Podcast, your first choice for second round advice, with your hosts Gabriel Miramontes and Jacob Bartley.
Pearl on 3rd and 7. Jefferson hauls it in. Would be Max Crosby. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Welcome on into the First Round Fantasy Podcast, your first choice for second round advice. If you're watching us on YouTube, it looks different. I'm standing on TikTok. My feet will get tired here soon. I've seen people do it before. Why can't I do it, right? Some people might say, are you in the doghouse? I'm not in the doghouse. I don't want to be a disruptor, all right? I don't want to burn any bridges. I love my wife too much. Hopefully she's not on here, so don't tell her I said that because she didn't want me to say that. She doesn't want people to think she kicked me out into the garage to do TikTok Live tonight and on YouTube. But we're going to be answering some fantasy questions for week 5. But before we do, oh my gosh, I told you Justin Fields was at least a top 7 back for me. I had him in the range of 7 to 12. So yes, who would have thought he would have popped off? Been amazing for your fantasy team, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. DJ Moore, I also said he was a solid start, but as a wide receiver too. Probably going to end up as the wide receiver 1 for the week, but it's still young. The night is still young. Let's get into some questions here. I won't waste any more of your time. You're here for one thing and one thing only, to get some questions answered. I'm here to give you my opinions, but please let the chat be your guide as well. I can only be your shoulder to listen to, your shoulder to lean on, or that ear that you need. And hopefully my advice sits well with you. Let's get to it. Hockenson or Andrews this week? I'm going to lean with Andrews, coming off the high-flying week 3 last week, or week 4. I think he's bound to keep doing it. Looked pretty good after I had mentioned, quite honestly, a few weeks prior that I didn't think that game plan was scripted towards him. But Lamar looks good. Andrews looks good. He's a fine start over Hockenson this week. Mixing Collins, Kupp, pick 2. I'm going to go with Kupp, and I'm going to go with Collins. Thanks for the question, Cleo. Mio Twad, trade Mostert for Devontae Smith. If you can do it, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at this point. Again, fantasy football is ever changing. If you've been here the last couple of days, I may have said some other things in the past, but I have to adapt. I have to keep moving. So as far as Mostert or Devontae Smith is concerned, I don't mind that trade for Devontae Smith. Should I start Nico Collins or Garrett Wilson this week? I'm all for some Nico Collins. Thanks for the question, Owen. Matt says start Raymond. I don't know who Raymond is since, St. Brown is down. I don't know about Khalif Raymond. Josh Reynolds, you can take a speculative shot on Jameson Williams, even though they came out and said before we really knew that Amon St. Brown was going to be out, they said that he wasn't going to get a lot of work. Josh Reynolds is the only sure thing at wide receiver that I feel comfortable starting in that matchup, especially because even though Goff has been good for the NFL purposes, he hasn't really been the best for fantasy. So with that being said, no Raymond for me this week. I would start Josh Reynolds. Let's get some more questions here. Let's see. Start one, trade one, rest of season. Kupp or Puka? It's the question we're all asking ourselves, folks. That's the big question here tonight. Jonathan Taylor or Zach Moss? Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua? I think it's reasonable to say that rest of season, Kupp is probably going to be the better player if he's healthy. He has the track record. He has the history. We've seen it before. Sure, this Cinderella story that we call Puka Nacua is a thing. It very much got us all excited, and it's probably going to come to a slow but timely end as Kupp returns. I still like Puka Nacua as a solid wide receiver too. And again, we don't know how healthy Cooper Kupp is, but if he does go down, Puka Nacua is still the steal of the draft, likely the steal of the waiver wire. So yes, it's Cooper Kupp rest of season if he's healthy. It's Puka, obviously, if he's not. Lamar or Tua this week? Give me Lamar. Give me Lamar in that rushing upside. I don't know why I stuttered there. I do want to get the NFL scores up here so I can get some matchups this week. There we go. That's what I like to see. Get some good matchups in here. Let's see. This was last week. Boom. There we go. All right, let's get back to it. Mixon, Collins, or Cup, pick 2. Already got to that one. Trade Debo for Madison. Bro, if you can do that, Christopher, then don't even spend any more time in this chat. Go and make that trade. Oh, wait, you have Debo Samuel. No, don't do that. Hold on to Debo Samuel. No, thank you for Madison. Barkley or Montgomery. Honestly, Uncle Trey, I like Montgomery. Christoph, trade Debo for Madison. Talked about it. Stafford or Richardson this week. I still like Richardson. Tough matchup, but I do like the rushing upside that he provides. I think that Indianapolis team is going to get a huge boost if Jonathan Taylor plays this week. Braylon Evans says, any tips for the team? My team is Richardson, Bijan, ooh, nice with the rookies, Etienne, solid at running back, Amon-Ra, A-Rook, Waller, and DK. Any tips for that team? I don't know. Go win a championship. You got some boom and bust players in there with Ayuk and DK. And if Amon goes out this week, you got to hope one of them can keep you afloat. Ayuk did it last week. Maybe DK does it this week. But as far as tips for your team, I don't know. I like the rushing upside. I like the running backs. And I think you got a solid trio of wide receivers there. Waller's the only thing, but at tight end, what else can you expect? It's a good team, man. I give it a 7.5, 8.5 out of 10. It's a solid team. Let's see. MV Sun, Debo Samuel, thoughts, start or sit? He's a low-end flex play for me this week. Obviously, we know that he has high wide receiver 2 upside, but I've mentioned it a few times over the last couple of days that Brandon Ayuk is on this weird historic pace with the amount of yardage that he's been able to accrue with the inefficiency of targets that he's been getting. So it's this crazy kind of anomaly that we're seeing. Thanks, Lip. I appreciate it. It's this crazy kind of anomaly that we've been seeing. But with that being said, Debo Samuel's kind of like George Kittle in this offense. He's going to have his blow-up games if someone's out. He's going to kind of simmer that flex value if everyone's playing. And between Debo and Ayuk, although I think Ayuk is the more talented wide receiver, this game against the Dallas Cowboys is going to be very interesting because they're going to bring a lot of pressure on, I imagine, I can't say that they will, I imagine that they're going to bring a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy. And if that happens, he's going to have to get the ball out quick. Who profits most from that? Kittle and Debo Samuel. Who doesn't profit from that? Ayuk, who usually finds his targets somewhere between that intermediate range of 9 to 15 yards per target. So with that being said, this could be a week where Debo finds solid flex value, or maybe even that wide receiver 2 upside. Those are my thoughts on him this week. Cooper says, I'm trading Amon-Ra for Kyren Williams. Win or a loss? I would wish that you did not trade Amon-Ra for Kyren Williams, especially with Cooper Kupp coming back. Does that mean he loses out on the PPR work? Now he has 2 short field wide receivers that are clearly masters at their craft. That's going to take away from Kyren Williams some. I'd rather hold on to Amon-Ra right there. Mo says, start Nico, Garrett, or Flowers. I'm rolling with the hot hand, and that's Nico Collins. Thanks for the question, man. Let's see. Glupak says, should I start Dobbs at wide receiver 2 this week? My other wide receivers are on bye. Then if that's all you got, then that's all you need, my friend. Yeah, start him up. I feel pretty good about him this week. Even with it being Watson's second game back in the fold, I still think he can get some pass down work. And I think he's got value. I think he's got low, mid-range flex value, which is what you need. If you're putting him in your wide receiver 2 spot, that's still okay as well. Let's see here. Let's get to some more questions. Jaden Reed or Michael Wilson? I'd probably ride the hot hand with Michael Wilson. I like Jaden Reed, but second game back with Christian Watson, look for him to get more involved. And one of these wide receivers and Dobbs and Reed is going to get phased out. Likely going to be Reed. And plus, with Reed, you're hoping for that 50-yard bomb or that catch around the goal line, which Watson may now kind of accrue those targets. It's a guess, a speculative assumption from my part. Still, I'd rather go with Michael Wilson with the tough matchup. Mostert, Mixon, or Pollard. Pick 2. Let me get Pollard and let me get probably Mostert this week. No Mixon for me. Fading him hard against a tough defense. Benji Burhezel says Puka or Waddle this week. I still like Puka, man. I still like Puka. I think he's a solid wide receiver too. And although Waddle has yet to really explode, Puka's shown us what he can do. And who knows? Maybe Cooper comes back and he's limited. Maybe they don't put him on 100% snap share. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm saying that's a possibility. And I'd like Puka if that was the case. PPR KP Bleezer says, trade Olave. My QB room is suspect now. if you need to trade Olave, you can. I don't know what kind of QB you're looking for, but I'd probably have to say I'd like to keep Olave and then just find a QB on the waiver wire. Dude talks too much. Oh, man, Alex, I'm sorry, dude. You want me to talk less? All right, let's get to it. Thanks for the question, Robert. Lil Sav, Stroud, Stafford, or Burrow? Give me Stroud. Victor, Mostert, Mixon, or Pollard? Pick 2. Pollard and Mostert. Mixon, Etienne, Brees, or Saquon? Pick 2. Etienne and Brees Hall. Look for the big week against the really crappy defense. Olave or Khalil Herbert for Pittman and Hall. If you can do it, I don't mind it. I like Hall's rest of season outlook. Herbert's got a nagging injury as of now. Jason, Mixon, Etienne, we already got that. Burrow or Dobbs this week? That's really tough, man. I said it a couple of days ago. I'm not starting Burrow until I see something from him. So if I have to, I'll start Dobbs this week. Naham, who should I trade Puka? Who should I trade, Puka or Nico, to pair with T-Law to trade for Mahomes and Zay? Zay Jones? I don't know why you'd be targeting Zay Jones, but obviously you're getting something lesser back with Mahomes involved. So if you had to trade one, I'd probably go with Puka. But even then, I don't really want to do it. I think you stick with T-Law. They've been putting up virtually – I know Trevor Lawrence has been struggling, but they're really only 15 to 20 points behind each other right now. I'd have to fact check that, so let me know. But that's just my gut reaction. I don't even want to make that trade. I'll keep my wide receivers and keep that value. Let's see. Nick, should I trade Waddle and Kamara for Kupp and Rashid Rice? I wouldn't mind. I don't mind that trade at all. I would love to see what Kupp is going to do this week, but unfortunately we can't foresee that. So if you have the depth to do so, by all means, you're getting the best player in the deal, the potential best player in the deal, Nick. Not a bad move. Naham says, who should I care? Okay. Should I trade Waddle? Gotcha. Mostert. Maverick, man, thanks for coming out. I appreciate you. Thanks for the roses. Mixon, Etienne, Press, or Saquon got these. Let's move it down. Let's see. Pick 2, Debo, Devontae Smith, Ayuk, and Nico. I'm going to ride with the hot hands here and say Brandon Ayuk and Nico Collins. Full PPR. Give James Cook plus Ridley. Get Eckler. If you got to do what you got to do, Williams, those are big boy moves. Make that call. I wouldn't mind having Eckler on my team. And frankly, that's probably a little light to give up for him because he's the best running back in football right now behind Christian McCaffrey. You just got to hope he doesn't come back and re-injure that or get re-injured or aggravate his previous injury. So, but yeah, I would go for it in a heartbeat. Tank Dell or Josh Reynolds this week. It looks like Amon-Ra St. Brown is trending outwards. So you got to go with your gut here. But ultimately, it looks like Josh Reynolds is going to have quite the opportunity on his hands. I'm going with Josh Reynolds here. Pick 3, Kyrian, Mixon, Thielen, and Pacheco. I love some Pacheco this week. I'll keep Kyrian Williams, and I'll ride the hot hand with Thielen as he's been doing pretty good. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm pretty low on Mixon this week. I'll have to look up some other stats here, but I just don't like the matchup. I meant Rashad White. Oh, I see, Nick. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Let's see. Saquon, Mixon, Devontae Smith for the flex. I get to pick one. Give me Devontae Smith. Hope for that carousel game to come around, and hope he can take the top off of some of these defenders. My team's in shambles. I'm sorry, man. That sucks. Don't worry, Caleb Bradley. We're going to help you out, or I'm going to try. Start Algier, Najee, or Chuba Hubbard this week. Yeah, that's really gross. I'd probably lean on the side of Chuba Hubbard, although I can totally see in the realm of possibilities where Najee is still a thing. He did have his biggest fantasy output last game, which was 11 fantasy points. So if you need something steady, Najee might be your guy. And I'm probably likely to stick with him here between these 3. Owen Kavanagh says, DeAndre Swift or Garrett Wilson in the flex. Got to stick with DeAndre Swift. He's been doing great things, and he's getting some passing down work as of late, so I love to see it. James Conner says, James Conner's in the chat. Let's go. Good luck this week, man. You got a juicy matchup. I'm starting you over a bunch of people. Judy or Jameson Williams in the flex? No Jameson Williams for me just yet. Not yet. I will stick with Judy here again. Dan Campbell came out and said that he's going to be on a limited snap count. He may not even see the field. He has to get worked back into the offense. And he also made a weird comment that suggests that he's just got to get with the team, as if to say he's not really with it yet. I mean, the guy was gambling, for goodness sakes. I don't know if he should have been suspended 4 games for that, but, it is what it is. Let's see. Jaden Victoria says, we already got all those questions. Let's see here. That's a big one. Can I get more value for Eckler than Hill and Amari Cooper? It depends. Usually the running backs are more valuable. They are more scarce. Whoa. Eddie Bueno, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thank you for the roses. But typically you are going to get more value for that running back. Hill, yes, a very valuable wide receiver, and Amari Cooper, 2 of them together. I can argue that you might get the same value for either or in that scenario. 2 starting wide receivers for 1 starting running back. I could see probably getting more value for Eckler still, but he's been hurt the last 2 games, so that's probably going to hinder that assumption. Hill and Amari probably get more value there, Wally. Thanks for the question. Start 2. A-Chain, Derrick Henry, Jacobs, or Kamara, and then add 1 to the flex. So I really get to pick 3? Is that what you're telling me? I'm going to ride the hot hand with A-Chan here. I'm going to start Derrick Henry. Oh, that's not true. I'm going to ride A-Chan here, Josh Jacobs, and Kamara. Kamara has a tough matchup against the New England defense, but we saw how much dink and dunk work he got from Derek Carr. Yes, New England loves to shut down those primary options against certain teams, and I can't see a reason why they're not going to target Kamara and Olave in this matchup. But I think if they had to, Kamara is going to still find some success. So it's going to be A-Chan, Jacobs, and Kamara for me. Eddie, thanks for the rose, man, and thanks for coming out. Let's see, 4-0. Good for you, man. Congrats. You know what? That deserves a handshake in the chat. Let's get it for him. Can we get him? Can we get him one? There it is right there. 4-0s in the chat. I am not 4-0. I play in an extremely unhealthy amount of leagues. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I'm not 4-0 in any league. So that's who you're getting advice from tonight. But trade Pittman for Gibbs, half PPR. I don't mind it at all. I think Gibbs has the potential to come out. They're giving Montgomery 25 to 30 carries a game. He's going to miss some games. Let's just be honest. He's going to get banged up. I like Gibbs, in Dynasty. I'd like to like him a little bit more in redraft. He is getting some touches. Sure. I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all. Jason, do you think Saquon is going to do good this week? I don't think he's going to do good any week with how bad that team is, man. But, of course, we have to rank him as so. He is Saquon. He's proven it week in and week out. He's probably a running back 2 for me this week. I can double check my rankings just to make sure. We only have 2 teams on bye so far. Or I'm sorry, 4 still. I'm already jumping ahead to week 6. But let me see here. Yeah. No. Let's see who I like better than Saquon Barkley this week. Let's see. Just for running back perspective, I did have Khalil Herbert higher at the time. I had Dameon Pierce higher at the time. Gibbs was right with him in that running back 25 range. That's kind of what my thoughts are on him this week. Rate my team: Lamar, Kamara, Eckler, Diggs, Pittman, Laporta, Montgomery. You have some filthy running backs. You have one of the best wide receivers in football, followed by an okay number 2 and a top 5 QB. That's an 8.5 out of 10. You're competing. Braylon, go win some games, man. Thanks for the question. Abby Padrosa. I probably didn't say that right, so I apologize for butchering it. Adams, Kupp, and Ayuk. Pick 2. I get to pick 2. Keep an eye on Adams' shoulder issue. That could be significant as we get closer to Monday night because, again, the Raiders play Monday night here. So that's something you have to keep an eye on. Why not just go with the healthy picks, Kupp and Ayuk, which is weird because is Kupp healthy? We don't really know. I'd say let's see if Devontae Adams can get that limited practice in tomorrow, which is Saturday. And if he does, he's probably going to be on track to play on Monday. I'd like to think I'd go Adams and Kupp here. Those are 2 top-tier wide receivers. But if that's not the case, then Ayuk is the guy for me, Kupp and Ayuk. Thanks for the question, Abby Padraza. Is that a better pronunciation? I don't know. Let's see. Chrisney99 says, should I start Kyren Williams? He's going against the best run defense in the NFL right now. Again, let's pull up the rankings. I don't mind calling it out when I need it. So let me look them up here. Williams this week. Let's see. I like him. He's kind of that running back 15 range for me. I like Alvin Kamara more than him this week. I did have Brian Robinson Jr. in front of him. He went out and had the poor game, but let me just make this perfectly clear because I don't get in a lot of arguments. I feel like arguments over TikTok or YouTube or anything like that are really, really pointless, and we should just be spending more time having constructive kind of conversations. But occasionally they can lead to arguments, and I promise you it wasn't me who instigated it. But it was right before Thursday night's game, and someone made the comment that, first of all, they commented on a video that I had made in August, early August, before the season had even started, about Brian Robinson, letting him know that my outlook for Brian Robinson on the year was probably a running back 20 type of range, maybe 20 to 25. Well, clearly he's had some great games and he's had some duds so far this year. So someone took the time to go and find that video and comment on it and just prove me wrong. Well, one of the things I said in that TikTok was they're going to experience negative game scripts. No one predicted that last night. I at least expected it to be a much closer game. But when they experience game scripts like this, Brian Robinson is not going to get work, and he's not going to get work on the ground. So that's a dud for me. So now he's had 2 dud games out of a possible, 5 now. I mean, he's still a really great running back, but I'm just saying that was the point of my TikTok back then, and I'm bringing it up now. As far as Kyren Williams is concerned, I did have Alvin Kamara ahead of him. I like James Cook more than him this week. So he validates that wide receiver 15, or that beautiful, sorry, looking at a text. He definitely represents that running back 2 for me this week against a tough matchup. Christine, sorry, it took so long on that question. Thank you for your patience. Had to get the rant out. Let's see. Pick 2. Start Jerry Jeudy, Jameson Williams, Rashee Rice, and Michael Wilson. That's really tough. I'd probably go with Jerry Jeudy and Michael Wilson here. Alberto, thanks, man. I appreciate you. JDG 2130 says, do I trade Amon-Ra and Stevenson for Jamar Chase? I'm stacked at running back already. I, too, have also started to move Ramondre Stevenson in some places that I have him. Doesn't mean I'm like super worried about him, but if you can make that deal, 100%, I would go out and get Jamar Chase in a heartbeat. Let's see, Moss or Sanders this week. It all comes down. If Taylor's playing this week, then you have to go Sanders. And as far as Ridley or Flowers is concerned, I like Ridley this week. Again, we talked about press coverage and those type matchups that he's been playing, especially last week against Atlanta. The Buffalo Bills also play a lot of press coverage, but not as good, especially since they just lost Tre'Davious White. I like Ridley over Flowers this week. I traded Achane and Nico for Mahomes and Mixon. Thoughts? You got the best player in the deal, but you gave up some really young talent that I think can supersede far into this season. So unless you were super hurting at QB, my thoughts are it's not the best. I would have liked to kept the young youth and ride the hot hands that those 2 players have been providing for your fantasy teams. But ultimately, it's not a bad deal. It's personal preference, right? So thanks for the question, Alberto. Appreciate you, man. Adams, Cup, or Ayuk. Already got to that. Let's see. Let's get to some more comments here. Let's see. Should I drop Goddard for Ferguson? If you have to, I have no problems with that at all, my man. Do what you got to do. Drop Burrow. I wouldn't drop Burrow per se. Hold on to him. He's actually in a good get-right game this week. We said that last week, but honestly, his next 2 games, or I guess last week, this week, and the following week, they're really good matchups. So keep an eye on them, hold them. If you can't do it together next week or this week, then it might be time to really reevaluate our things. Eddie, get out of here, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tank Dell or Jacoby Myers this week. Garoppolo looks like he's back and primed, ready to go. Let me give some Jacoby Myers. Let's see. Rate my team. Already got to this. Let's see. I traded Mahomes because my QB was Burrow. We're all there, man. We're all there. I traded the wrong QB. I had Burrow and Fields. They were both underperforming, and I was able to get rid of Fields for Watson and a running back. I can't even remember at this point, so you can see how bad of a trade that probably was on my part. But yeah, man, if you have to do what you got to do, again, I don't know your teams. You know your teams better than I do. Seeing that reasoning, it doesn't make it hurt too bad. But again, Achane and Nico, I hope the rest of your lineup is pretty solid, my guy. Let's see. Rate my team. Gotcha. Rest of season trade, Brees and Amari or Mixon and Waller. I'd rather have Brees and Amari Cooper for sure. Thanks for the question, Nick Marquette. Kyle says, full PPR. Should I trade ETN and Ayuk for Olave and Aaron Jones? Absolutely not. I'll keep ETN and Ayuk here. Thanks for the question, Kyle. O'Shea says, trade for Olave or James Cook. You want to trade for either or? I like Olave long-term, so that's probably the guy that I'm willing to target. Hoodie, Dell, Addison, or Thielen this week. I'm gonna go with Thielen. Oshi, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate you. Ethan, what's up, guy? Thoughts on Aaron Jones for Evans and Michael Thomas? It's not the best. I don't like it. Everyone in this trade is underperforming except for Evans, and now he's dealing with a nagging injury. If you need that wide receiver depth, sure, it's not a bad trade at all. I'm actually really, really low on Aaron Jones, although I do think he has some good games ahead. I just don't know how often they're going to come up. So it's a fine trade on my part, Ethan. Good for you, man. Jay, thank you for the rose, dude. Appreciate it. Ethan, Wild Jeff. Watch out, guys. There's a Wild Jeff running around. Everybody be careful. No one laughs at my jokes. It's okay. Barkley or Mostert this week? Gotta roll with Mostert. I will double check my rankings just to make sure. We already talked about Barkley. I had him back in the 20s. I'm almost positive I have Mostert higher than that. And sure enough, I do. He's about 2019 for me. Let's see. I like Raheem Mostert more than just who we were talking about, Saquon Barkley. I like him more than Ramondre Stevenson this week. And that's about it. I have Breece Hall, James Conner ahead of him currently. Trade Olave for James. Oh, that's what you meant. Trade for Olave. Oh, no, we already got to that question. Gotcha. Who should I trade London away for? It's a tough world out there in London, man. I don't know what you can get for him at this point. It depends on what you need. Are you looking for another wide receiver that's also been downplaying and maybe has similar upside, Jay? Or are you looking for a running back? Let me know down in the comments, and then maybe we can talk a little bit more. Would you trade DK for Breece Hall straight up? Ed, I would not. But also, I could see why you might do it if you really anticipate the breakout coming as this New York Jets team starts to play a little bit better. But I got to see more work from Breece Hall first. And unfortunately, at that point, it'll be too late. So that's a gut-wrenching move that you have to make, man. If I'm getting DK, I could see reasons why I would do it. If I'm getting Breece Hall, I would see reasons why I'm doing it. But right now, I think I'd rather hold on to DK. But that situation might come back to bite me. Thanks for the question, Ed. Hunter. Jacoby Myers or Christian Kirk this week? Give me some Christian Kirk against the Buffalo Bills. Was trading Puka and Madison for Jamar Chase a good trade? The best trade you ever could have made. Thanks, TCK, for the question. Nick Davis says Derrick Henry or Breece Hall rest of season. Although I really like Breece Hall rest of season, as long as the wheels don't fall off of Derrick Henry, I'm taking him week in and week out. Give me Derrick Henry here rest of season. Trade Dell for Breece Hall. If you can make that trade happen, I'm not opposed to it at all. That's a great trade, Juan Milan. I love it. Let's see. Let's get to some more questions. Thoughts on Jahmyr Gibbs rest of season? Again, he's a really good handcuff right now, Kyle. That's about all he is. People want to downplay that he's not producing as much, but you know what? He's getting you 8 to 12 fantasy points a week, which is kind of a solid flex play. But I think most people are scolded because they've been starting him at probably as their RB1 or RB2. And you're going to get scolded if that's the case. But as far as a flex value from that perspective, he's been doing okay. Rest of season, he's a supreme handcuff next to David Montgomery, who's getting 25 to 30 carries a game. And that's kind of where I have him. I think he can finish. If he just rides it out with David Montgomery, he's clearly a running back 35, 45 range. But if, Montgomery gets hurt any given time, Gibbs can immediately step in and be a solid running back too for your fantasy team. Breece or Kyron with Cooper Kupp back. I like Breece just because the matchup. All right, Jay. Thanks for the rose, man. A running back maybe? I have Stevenson and Cook and DJ Moore and Olave. Dude, you're set, my guy. Let's look you up a good running back right now. Let's see. Who do we want to move again for? It was a DK, right? No. Who was it? Oh, great. Jay, now you got to let me know. I'm keeping an eye out for your question. Who was that wide receiver again? Let's see. Brown, Chase, Ayuk, Smith. Which one should I bench this week? You got to choose between those guys. What are you doing? Bench Smith. Ditto. Garrett Wilson or Mostert this week? Probably gonna go with Mostert, even though my stomach hurts. We saw the 13 targets last week for Garrett Wilson. That was pretty solid, right? Hopefully that continues. The matchup is a little on the okay side, so I still take Mostert here. Okay, let's see. Start Cup. Yeah, you're starting Cup. You just gotta do it. You gotta do it. Eddie Bueno. Thanks, but thanks to what? I don't know what you want me to answer. A running back, maybe? Okay, yeah. Answer. Trade Devontae Smith and Joshua Palmer for Garrett Wilson and Gabe Davis. I don't mind that trade at all. Julian, solid trade. Make it if you got to make it. DJ, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate you. Would you trade Diggs and Rachaad White for Addison, Mostert, and Keenan Allen? I would not. I want to hold on to the best player in the deal, which is Diggs here. I'm keeping him. And I get it. You're getting Keenan Allen, Addison. You can argue that same value, but that Josh Allen Diggs connection is too powerful for me right now. Mahomes and Brees for Kirk Cousins and D Hen. Who wins? I don't know who D Hen is. Am I blanking Nick Davis? I really don't know. Are you talking about D Hop? Because Brees Hall and Kirk Cousins clearly win, but I must be not in the right state of mind right now because I have no idea who DN is. Alex Evans, would you trade Barkley for Evans and Brees Hall? I feel like you can get more for him, but he's been such an underperformer. I'd probably do it. I'd probably do it. That's my take. Thanks for the question, Alex Evans. Baldy, PPR, trade Adams for Metcalf and Devontae Smith. Devontae Adams? I want to hold on to the wide receiver one, the better player in the deal. So I'm going with Devontae Adams. Jay, you can't give me any more roses until I finally answer your question, man. I keep messing it up. Start Cup, AR-15, Olave, and Pacheco for Trevor Lawrence, Amon-Ra, and Javonte Williams. Which side? I'm taking the AR-15, Olave, and Pacheco side. Thanks for the question, Luca. Nick Neck, Kamara or James Cook this week? I like the PPR value that Kamara provides. That's where I'm going to go with it. Let's see. Julian, we already got to you, bud. Thanks for coming out. Casey says, Jalen Waddle or Nico Collins rest of season. That's intense, man. That's intense. I'm probably going to say that Jalen Waddle figures it out, gets back to form. But for right now, Nico Collins is playing great. Rest of the season, though, it's Jalen Waddle for me. Thanks for the question, bud. Let's see here. Trade London away. Yes. Jay, let's get it right now. Who can we trade for London? You're looking for a running back. Let's take a look at some players here. Okay, Drake London. Okay. I mean, Saquon Barkley's there. You might have to put a little bit more on top because clearly Saquon Barkley's name value alone is going to be just astronomical for Drake London alone. But maybe you can put something on top, another running back that's struggling. I know you mentioned you had a couple others. Eddie, chill, man. Thanks for the roses. Appreciate it. Not Najee Harris. I'm looking here. Miles Sanders, no. Khalil Herbert, no. All those guys are injured, and they make me nervous. Jahmyr Gibbs, two guys that haven't been playing like to the best of their abilities. That could be a potential trade offer for you. Again, but for running backs, because they're so scarce, you might have to find yourself putting more value into that trade to get some of these guys who I think have a greater outlook rest of season who are currently struggling right now. But those are just a few names. Hopefully they get your brain flowing and come up with some good ideas. Let's see. Sebastian Fair says, should I start A-Chain and Mostert? I have both. If you got to, you can. I don't see a problem with it. I'd probably lean A-Chain at this point. But I'm not opposed to starting them both. It all depends on how your lineup looks. B-Rob, thoughts? We had a big discussion about that a little bit earlier, or I had a lot of thoughts about it a little bit earlier. But as far as B-Rob is concerned, there are going to be games where there's negative game scripts, and he's one of those running backs that is going to get completely phased out if those games happen. We saw it twice this year already, so they come and they go. I will say the Washington Commanders have a very tough schedule. Like, I think their last 10 games are intense. It's brutal. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I know they play the Jets defense again. They play the Bills. Like, they have some tough games. So B-Rob's outlook rest of the season, he's probably a sell high for me. I'm not opposed to it at all. Yock says, let's see, Chase, Kittle, and Swift for Kelsey and Bijan. No, keep Chase and keep Swift, Yock. Jacoby Dorr, Aaron Jones or Breece Hall? Breece Hall for me. Should I trade Mike Evans away? If you want to. I don't know. If you want to, man, it's your thoughts. Like, I don't see it. The injury bug is there, but when he's healthy, the Baker Mayfield connection is pretty darn good. Pretty darn good, I must say. Waddle or Dell or Ridley this week. I'm going to go with Ridley. No Tre'Davious White, a little bit lighter press coverage. That's what I'll do. Let's see. Let's get some comments here. Start 2, Addison, Ridley, Myers, Atwell, or Michael Wilson. Give me Addison. Give me Ridley here. Thanks for the question, Mason Perrin. And again, I don't want to be the guy that makes all the decisions for you folks. I encourage multiple viewpoints. So hopefully you're finding some other ways to get some advice. Maybe, check out 3, check out 4 different places, see what they have to say, then do a consensus type thing. But I really do like Addison in a bounce back, and I like Ridley in a bounce back as well. Nando Nuna says, would you trade Bijan for Amari Cooper, James Cook, and Breece Hall? Nope, I'd probably just stick with Bijan. But if you're desperate to spread that running back field in to get more depth at the running back position, I don't mind it, but still, I'd rather have Bijan, who's the best player in the deal. Julia Baltazar says, who should I sit? Jacoby Myers, Kirk, or Olave? Between those 3, I'd probably sit Olave with the down game. Now they're going up against the New England Patriots, a team that likes to shut down top options. I'd be fine rolling with Jacoby Myers in a game where Devontae Adams might sit out and Garoppolo is back. Seems like a perfect matchup. And Christian Kirk continuing to be a solid wide receiver 2 for your fantasy team since the disappearing act in week 1. Answer me. Eddie, I'm trying to answer you, man. What do you want me to do? I see your question. It goes away. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Kirk or Watson in the flex? Give me Kirk. I like the touchdown upside. That's what you want in the flex. You want that upside. You want that boom to potential. That could be Watson this week, especially on Monday Night Football against the putrid Raiders defense. Colin or Amon-Ra if he plays. Amon-Ra is already doubtful, so that decision should be made pretty easy for you, technician. I'm going to go with Collins there. Julian, start Gabe Davis or Achane. I'm going to go with Achane here. Luis Ramirez, drop one. Dalvin Cook, Chuba Hubbard, or Tyler Higbee. I'm always down to drop a tight end before I drop any running back. So, of course, I'll drop Tyler Higbee here. Let's see. Cutual or actual Waddle or Ayuk this week. Give me some Ayuk, man. Let's see. Kirk or Watson in the flex. We already talked about that. Let me get some Watson. Start Tua or Stafford. Give me Tua. Trade Mostert for Puka. If you can make it happen, I'm not opposed to it. I think they're both solid running back 2s because of these emerging superstars that are either returning or coming out as strong as rookies. Flex Jameson Williams if St. Brown is a no-go. I probably would not do that, Juan Carlos. Again, the comments that were made by Dan Campbell says this guy may not even see that many snaps when he comes back. Who knows? Maybe the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing might be a bigger deal than we think. But it looks like he's missing this game. Maybe they put him in. They give him a few snaps. I'd keep an eye. That's something that, I'd check the sleeper updates. I want to see what Dan Campbell's saying. They're obviously going to have a press conference tomorrow if they rule out Amon-Ra. So keep your eyes posted for that. If he is out and we get any good news about Jameson Williams, I'm sure I'm okay to start him. I think anybody would. But right now, from the recent comments from Dan Campbell, he may not see a lot of time. So I'm not opposed to starting him this week, or I don't want to start him this week. User says A.J. Brown for Devontae Smith and Mike Evans. I want to keep A.J. Brown here. Let's see. LT84. Amari Cooper and Javonte Williams for Waddle and Akers. I like Waddle. I like Waddle as the best player in the deal here. So, yeah, I'm okay making that trade. Burner account. This is his 3rd burner account? Holy cow, dude. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. Now I'm kind of sketched out. What's a good package I could get for trading Achane? Let's find out. I'm not opposed to finding out. Let's see. Oh man, I have him as a running back 11 this week, right behind Travis Etienne. And I mean, you can probably get some really good value for him. Let's look at some wide receivers here who you might be able to get. If you compare Garrett Wilson, who's been playing poorly, who's got a really solid matchup this week, and then you can also pair him with like, you probably can't get James Conner, but Garrett Wilson and now Marquise Brown. I want to get another solid wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, and maybe get a crappy running back like Ramondre Stevenson. I wouldn't mind that trade at all. I wouldn't mind that trade at all. But again, I think you can get a lot more for Achane, especially if he has another good week. So I don't know why you're thinking about trading him. Go get another burner account. Goff or T-Law this week? Give me some Goff. Trade Mostert for Puka? Yeah, you can do that. Thanks. Good luck this week. Luis, no, man. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the question, and good luck to you this week. All right, let's see here. Boop. Kyron and Kupp for Pollard and Kamara. I wouldn't do it. I want to see what Kupp can do. You've held him for so long. Just be careful, please. Be careful. I'm not ballsy enough to do that. You the man? No, burner. You're the man. You're brave enough to have 3 burner accounts. So go get a 4th one. Thanks for coming out tonight, man. I appreciate you. C-Roll 45 says, I got offered Barkley and Kirk for Jonathan Taylor. I wouldn't do it. You've held on to Jonathan Taylor this long. Looks like he's going to get ready to play. So I'd hold on to him. Burner, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Corn Dog, I'm hungry. Why you got to? Now I'm really hungry. Now I can only think about corn dogs right now. I love a good corn dog. Running backs I can get for Wilson and Nico. Let's find out. I'd say off the top of my head, probably not a lot. Isaiah Pacheco might be one. Breece Hall could be another. Those are 2 guys that I definitely start with. But with the running back position being so scarce as it is, I'm kind of scared to think that any owner would do that. Swift or Achane this week? I'll take Swift this week. Waddle and Puka for A.J. Brown. If you can get A.J. Brown, I don't mind that trade one bit. Oh, my God. Answer what, Eddie? I'm so confused, man. What is your question? I literally don't know. You got me tripping here, bro. You got me tripping. Eddie, I'm going to keep out. Oh, my God. What? Jackie, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Let's see. My best RB is Hall. I'm desperate. Is Cook for Brown fair? You trying to get Dalvin Cook for A.J. Brown? I don't know what you're talking about. Jeffrey, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific because your best running back is Hall. And you're trying to ask, is Cook for Brown fair? Marquise Brown? I have no idea. But Dalvin Cook, no. If it's A.J. Brown, no. If it's Marquise Brown, probably not. Dalvin Cook's worth nothing to me. Thoughts on Ford going forward? He's got volume. That's about all you can ask for. He's a solid running back 2 with crashing to the floor wide receiver or running back 3 downside. But on a good week, he's a solid running back 2 rest of the season. Amari Cooper for Najee and Michael Wilson. I need RBs, and Najee is the only RB anyone is giving. Yeah, exotic. I know what you mean. That's a tough days out there for finding some running backs. But honestly, it's not the worst deal in the world. I don't mind it. You're looking for upside with Michael Wilson, and you're looking for Najee to essentially keep his job. So if he can do that, which right now it's kind of like that 50-50 split between him and I don't know who the other running back is because it just escaped my mind. I've only been talking about him for so long, but sometimes that happens. You know what I mean, though. We're all talking about it. I don't mind it, though. Exotics, if you got to do what you got to do, it's just the way we live. I think that's a fine trade. Seems fair to me. Go get you a running back who's going to get you 7 to 10 fantasy points a week, hopefully. Chef Boyard. Damn, guys, what's with all the food names? I'm getting hangry, all right? I got Bueno yelling at me in the chat. I got Corn Dog and Chef Boyardee in here. I'm just hungry now. Do you think Ridley will start producing? Yes, of course I think he will start producing. He's already produced. He's played a lot of tough press coverage. AJ Terrell of the Atlanta Falcons was a tough one. The week before that was a tough one. The Bills play a lot of press coverage as well. However, they're missing Tre'Davious White, so he's not going to be shadowed by him. I think he has a rebound game. I'm not going to say it's a solid game by any means, but that touchdown barely bailed you guys out last week if you started Ridley. This week, I think he gets a little bit more volume. T-Law got dropped. Should I drop Watson or Goff or both or neither? I'm okay dropping Watson, but Watson's been putting up probably significantly more points than T-Law. I don't know. Is it like a 10-man league, Cade? I'm just kind of confused. If T-Law's out there, the offense is going to figure it out. If I had to drop one, probably Watson is who I'm leaning. Probably Watson. Yeah, I'd do that. I'd go and get T-Law and drop Watson for sure. Jeffrey says, my best RB is... I got that already. Got these already. Let's get some more questions here. Boop. Gabe Davis and Cortland Sutton for James Cook. Is that a good trade? It's an okay trade. I'm guessing you need running backs, Will. And if you do, then you got to do what you got to do. But I'm totally fine giving that up for James Cook. A.J. Brown for James Cook. Jeffrey, if that's the trade, you better go get A.J. Brown right now. I don't know who in their right mind would do that, but if you're getting offered A.J. Brown for that, you need to leave here and you need to go press accept on your phone. A star 4545, start 3. I love start 3. That's so much better than start 1. Wilson, Flowers, Kupp, Ridley, or Pickens. I'm starting Kupp, I'm starting Ridley, and I'm probably starting Garrett Wilson this week. Thanks for the question, A star. Depressed Bears fan. Dude, don't be depressed. You guys just got your first game. You just won your first game in like 14 games. You should be happy tonight. You should change it just for tonight to happy Bears fan. Content Bears fan? Modestly smirking Bears fan? There's a couple of names out there you can change it to. Rate my team. Tua, Joe Mixon, ETN, Mike Evans, A.J. Brown, Sam Laporta, Adam Thielen, Ravens D, Aubrey as my kicker. You have a solid quarterback. You have okay running backs. You got a really thick, I don't know why I said thick. You got a really deep wide receiver core. Sam Laporta's solid. I'd give that team probably a 7 out of 10 with playoff upside for sure. Matthew Johnson, what's going on, man? Should I trade Burrow and Garrett Wilson for Cousins and Cooper? Ugh. I'll tell you right now, Cousins is going to get a lot of garbage time this year. Why do you think he has these QB1 numbers right now? Because he's slinging that ball 40 times a game. To be honest, I probably like the upside of Burrow rest of season. I know that sounds odd to say right now, but I'll take the Burrow and Garrett Wilson side here. Do you think Stevenson can pick up his RB production? I don't, because I traded him. Thanks for the question, Burner. No, I recently traded Amandre Stevenson. I can't remember who for. Oh, I traded him and I got Pacheco. And what was the deal? I gave up a 3rd-round pick and Ramondre, and I got Pacheco and a 4th-round pick, which I get it. Undrafted rookies don't usually go very far in the NFL. But Pacheco has looked so solid this season. I think his volume is insane. And I still think it's going to take a few games before the Kansas City Chiefs really pick up that offense. So, yeah, I like Pacheco for sure. But as far as Stevenson is concerned, it just depends, man. It just depends. Mac Jones going to get it done? Is Ben Zappe going to get it done? That constant flip-flopping that we saw last year, I hope it stops. I hope we can just see Zappe play this season out. That way that team builds continuity with one another. And if that's the case, then sure, Stevenson has a good outlook. But if they're going to be switching back like they did a lot last year, then I don't want to start any of them. Let's get to some more questions here. Casey says, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle or Nico Collins rest of the season. Got to that all right. T-Law just got dropped. Oh, got that too. Nakua or Brandon Ayuk this weekend. Ooh, between those two, probably go with Ayuk at this point, but it could be either or. I think they're back-to-back in my rankings right now as solid wide receiver twos. Cody Armour started DJ Moore in 2 of my leagues. Why you got to brag, Cody? Why you got to brag, dude? I get it. You started DJ Moore. Good for you. All right. Congratulations. You're probably going to win this week. Think of the question. Alex Smith, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, or Joshua Dobbs? Brock Purdy all the way. He never fails, and he's going to give you solid, consistent fantasy volume. Any running backs I could target with a package of James Cook and Rachaad White. So you're clearly looking to upgrade your running back situation. Let's find out. Well, I can tell you right now, I have James Cook higher than Rachaad White. So then let's go from there. You're looking for an upgrade for those two. James Conner is the first player that comes to mind, but that just seems boring. Let's get saucy in here. Let's get real saucy. Let's see. I'm going up. You probably can't get Tony Pollard. Joe Mixon, I don't want. Travis Etienne, I wouldn't mind that. Travis Etienne, Alvin Kamara, those two, I'm very adept to trade them in a package to get one of those two guys. So hopefully I got you your question in time, Cody. Thanks for the question. I appreciate you, man. Let's get some more questions over here. AJ Brown for James Cook. Yes, we already talked about that. Devontae Smith or Garrett Wilson for fantasy. Devontae Smith, Joe Bats. No. Garrett Wilson. Got a great matchup this week. Garrett Wilson for the win. Let's go. Write it out. Jaden, how you feel about ETN against Buffalo this week? How I feel about ETN against Buffalo every time they play, which is not often, and it's a tough matchup. I think he's a solid running back too for your fantasy football team, but he has a floor definitely outside that can give more of an RB3 approach. But in terms of running back production, he's a running back 16 to 18 for me this week. Thanks for the question, Jaden. Pick 3. Bijan, that's 1. Pollard, that's 2. And Mostert, that's 3. I'm sitting carry on this week. Let's see. Stevenson or Davis? Give me Gabe Davis. How you feel about ETN again? Okay, got that. Sutton on the IR. Sutton or Dell? Give me Sutton. Thanks for the question, Trey. Joe Bats. D. Smith or Garrett Wilson in fantasy? We talked about it. Garrett Wilson. Let's get some more questions here. Let's see. Depressed Bears fan. Are you looking for a receiver by trading Mixon or a better QB? Corn Dog. Why does your name keep coming up? I'm just hungry now. Do you think Stevenson can pick up his RB production? Again, they got to decide what they want to do. Zappy, Mac Jones, they can't flip-flop it. If they can get some solid production through the air, then sure, they have some work to do, and Stevenson can definitely improve. All right, let me look something up really quick here. Let me see. Let's see. Lamar or Tua this week? Give me Lamar. Thanks for the question, bud. A better RB or someone that could be a little bit better than him. I see. I'm glad you guys are talking that out. Hopkins, Zay Flowers, Michael Wilson, or Warren this week. I'd like to ride the hot hand. Give me Michael Wilson. Rate my team. Lamar, Josh Jacobs, Kyren Williams, AJ Brown, Chase, Kittle, Thielen, Moody. It's a solid team, solid running backs, and out of this world wide receivers. I'll give that team an 8.5 out of 10 with a possible championship run on the horizon. Chase and Pittman or Wilson and Puka? Give me the Chase and Pittman side. Kyrian, Achane, or Mixon, I get to pick 2. Give me Kyrian and Achane this week. Justice Hill for A.J. Dillon. It's a modest trade, to say the least. I don't have any problems with that at all. I'd go A.J. Dillon, though. Chase and Pittman or Wilson and Puka. Already talked about it. Give me Chase and Pittman. Again, thanks for coming out tonight, guys. I appreciate you. Nico or Zay Flowers this weekend. Give me Nico. Got some questions here in the YouTube chat as well. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Oh man, I don't like my new setup. I'm probably gonna go back to my old setup very soon. I feel like I'm in a creepy, weird axe murdery setup. Anyways, let's get to some questions. Joe Mixon for Breece Hall. Corn Dog's idea. I don't mind it. It's ballsy. But yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. I'd rather have Breece Hall there for the best outlook rest of the season. We see even Joe Mixon's going to have that 3 touchdown game like he did last year. And then he's going to average 3.4 yards per carry, be modest on the ground. la-di-da-di-da, and then Joe Burrow's going to get healthy. They're going to throw the ball a ton. Meanwhile, Breece Hall's still going to be figuring it out on the Jets. Could get eased into the game plan a little bit more for sure, especially because Dalvin Cook has done absolutely nothing. Watson, Wilson, or Rice? Give me Watson. Rate me. Corn dog, I'm about to eat you because I'm really hungry. Fields, Chase, Amon-Ra, solid wide receivers. Wilson and Nico, solid depth wide receivers. Breece, White, Javonte, that's your biggest question mark. And Ferguson, whatever, he's solid. I'll give that team, I don't know if that's been your team the whole season. You probably have a losing record, to be honest with you. But judging from this moment right now, I give it a 6.5, 7 out of 10. Your running backs need some work. Thanks for the corn dog. I appreciate you. Sajid says trade Jonathan Taylor for James Cook and Raheem Mostert. Dude, you've held on to JT this long. He's going to play this weekend most likely. Just hold on to him. He could be an absolute league winner if he ends up playing. Pick one: Dell, Reynolds, Judy, or Atwell. Again, Amon-Ra trending out towards out. Give me Reynolds. Best situation to see the most volume. Joe Mixon for Breece Hall. Yep. We got that. What do you think I can get for Rachaad White and Chris Godwin? Let's find out. I love a good Rachaad White, who's average at best. I'd probably say start somewhere in the. Let me see. Start somewhere in like the Calvin Ridley range. Maybe 2-for-1 special. You could target Isaiah Pacheco, Breece Hall. I don't think you're going to get DJ Moore anymore. Jahmyr Gibbs, I still kind of like. I mean, they're kind of the same other than Rachaad White's big little game he had just a couple of days ago. But yeah, those are just a few names to think about. Thanks for the question, Jordan. Best doggos. Hey, dude, I'm sorry to drop it to you, but my dog's kind of the best dog. But you can be a close second. Pick up Burrow and drop Stroud. Answer likely yes, but I have Fields and need stability. Burrow's giving you anything but stability, man. Ride it out with the rooks, my guy. Stroud and Fields, just let them sling. But if you absolutely have to, I understand where you're coming from. It is a consensus. It's not just me. We all think Burrow's going to bounce back in some big way. So yeah, I don't mind it. But I just love riding the hot hand. So Stroud and Fields, I think playing back and forth with those two for the rest of the year could be good things, but also leave you with some big headaches. But if you had to do it, you got to do it. Trade Jefferson for Pollard and Cooper. No, I would not. I don't care who your other players are. Olave, Smith, and Collins. No. Keep Jefferson. Who should I pick up for week 5 as my wide receiver? Mine are all hurt. Well, we'd have to look at the waiver wire, and I don't know what yours necessarily looks like, Chris, but let me know down in the comments. Maybe Tank Della's out there. Pick him up. Let's see. Who else could be out there? That's about as high as I'm willing to go. Rashee Rice, if he's out there. Robert Woods, Michael Wilson. Are those guys out there? Let's go a little bit deeper. KJ Osborne, Kendrick Bourne, Sky Moore, Wan'Dale Robinson. I actually like that. I like that name a lot. Wan'Dale Robinson doesn't sound too bad. Should I trade Debo for Ayuk? If you can get Ayuk, yes, I would do it. El Guero Ranchero. Mostert or James Conner? I really like James Conner this week. Should I trade Debo for Ayuk? Yes. Do I start Kupp? Yes. A-Chain and Kupp this week? Oh, that's brutal. Start your studs. Got to go with Kupp. Christian Watson, Rashee Rice, or Michael Wilson? You may have answered my live is lagging. Nah, Jude, you're all good, man. Let's see. Between those three, I'm probably going to go with Christian Watson here. I like the touchdown upside. Like that he's more of an established wide receiver 1 than just a good story so far, like Michael Wilson's been. And Rashee Rice has yet to be that full juju I expect him to be. So as he starts to emerge, I'm still going to roll with Christian Watson here. Aiden, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate you. Do I start Kupp? Yes. Puka for Taylor? If you can do it, sure. Go ahead and do it, T. Thompson. Pick one. Dell, Reynolds, Judy, or Atwell. Give me Reynolds. How can I upgrade my RBs? I have Chase, Amon-Ra, Wilson, and Addison and Nico to play with. Garrett Wilson and Addison. Send them out some floaters. Send out some floaters. James Conner's there. Jahmyr Gibbs plus something else. I don't know if you can get one of those top 10 running backs right now. Let's take a look. No, I wouldn't go for Isaiah Pacheco. You could probably do a 1-for-1, Nico or like Wilson for Pacheco. Someone might do that. But if you get Wilson and Addison in there, I want Pacheco and something else, like another garbage wide receiver back. But Pacheco's a guy I'm really high on. I expect big things from him rest of season. Let's see. Was trading Burrow for Richardson a good trade? Trading Burrow. You got Richardson? It's a great trade, my friend. Enjoy the success. Let's see. Mostert or Kyrian this week? I like Mostert. Thank you for the help. Nah, best. Thank you for the help, man. Thank you for the help. Thank you for coming out. Thanks for spending your Friday with me, even if it's just for a few minutes. I really appreciate it, man. Good luck this weekend, unless you're playing me, which you're not, so good luck. Aaron, will Tay Adams play? Will T. Higgins and Devontae Adams play? I don't know. Adams hasn't practiced 2 straight days. Usually when it's a Wednesday for a veteran, you're kind of just like, whatever. They're always going to sit out on Wednesday. But he sat out today too. Luckily, they play on Monday night. So if he gets in a limited tomorrow, then he's likely going to play, and I'm likely going to start him no matter what. T. Higgins, on the other hand, he's been boom or bust with really only one boom game. So I don't particularly care for him right now with the injury, especially since I'm not starting Burrow. But if he plays, you got to roll him out there as a solid wide receiver 3. A-Chain or Cup this week? Cup. That's tough, though. Let's get to some more questions. Brees or Mostert? Why you got to do me dirty like that? Chase or A.J. Brown? Chase. Brees or Mostert? This week, Brees Hall. Alex Sipes. Should I trade Andrews and Christian Kirk for Olave and DJ Moore? I have no problems with that trade. I think that's a fine trade. Thanks for the question, Alex. Barney says, start Nico Collins? Of course, if you want to. You have any other players that you might be wanting to start over him? Then we can have a conversation. But yeah, start Nico Collins this week. He's a solid wide receiver too. Let's see. Start Pittman or Zay Flowers? Pittman. Amari Cooper and Etienne for Barkley? Amari Cooper and Etienne for Barkley. Nah, I'd rather keep Amari Cooper and Etienne. CJ Stroud or Jordan Love for a QB2 option. Oh, filthy. I like CJ Stroud. I think he gets Atlanta this week. Jordan Love gets the Raiders. My Raiders. I know it hurts to say, hurts to hear. I get it. But between the two, I believe I do have Jordan Love just a little bit higher. I will take a look just to see. Let me see here. Yeah, I have Jordan Love as my QB 10 in front of Trevor Lawrence. And let's see, CJ Stroud, I have one spot behind him. I had Sam Howell in front of CJ Stroud this week. Thankfully, that worked out. But with bye weeks and the good matchup, I thought that was a good idea. And it was. It turned out okay. But I do have Love ranked higher. So I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say Love over Stroud this week. Thanks for the question, bud. Let's see. Tank Dell or Wan'Dale Robinson? That's a really interesting question, considering 2 weeks ago, it was Tank Dell in the chat, and it just never came to fruition. But I'd still like to see Tank Dell here against a team that's going to throw the ball a lot. And my gosh, the Houston Texans, Cinderella story of the year so far. I really like DeMeco Ryans. That defense is playing great. That offense is on fire. I can't wait to see what they do rest of the season. And I want Tank Dell to be a part of it this week because he wasn't last week. The TX Tejano, whatever. Pick 2, Olave, Etienne, Waddle, or Ayuk. Give me Ayuk and give me, if it's PPR, give me Olave. If it's half PPR or standard, give me Ayuk and Etienne. Thanks for the question. Sam says, Joshua Dobbs or Zach Wilson this week? Got to go with Joshua Dobbs. Never thought I'd say that. Hey, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate you. Slab conk. That feels very unhealthy to say. CD and Gibbs for Kenneth Walker and Zay. I would do it. Give me Kenneth Walker all day, all week. Kevin, start Ferguson or Kittle. I literally have Ferguson one spot ahead of Kittle purely because of consistency factors. He's been getting 7 targets a game. He's looked pretty good. Actually, that's not true. He's looked pretty bad. The Cowboys have looked pretty bad, but ultimately he's getting the volume, so I like that. Kittle's a boom bust, but they're like I said, I got Ferguson one spot ahead of him. But if you want to go for that home run play, then it's probably Kittle. But I like Ferguson as a safe bet. So that's the advice I'll give you, Kevin. Thanks for coming out, man. Tank Dell or Zeke? Give me Tank Dell. Bill Robinson. Javonte Williams for P. Ryan. It's a trade. No. Hold on to Javonte Williams. I know he's unhealthy. I know he doesn't look that great. But when he is healthy, he's getting clearly more work than P. Ryan. Christian Watson or Calvin Ridley this week? That's tough. I want to look it up. It's the first time I've seen it, and I want to look it up. Let's see. Probably somewhere closer to the top. Wait for it. All right. Oh, yeah. I have Ridley ahead of Dobson right now. Let's see who I like more than Watson. I like his partner, Romeo Doubs, a little bit more than Christian Watson this week. That's about it. I like DJ more. I guess I shouldn't say I didn't. I did not. Let me be honest. I did not like DJ more than Christian Watson this week, and we all know how that turned out. I got to admit when I'm wrong. But that's pretty much a safe space for that. He's a wide receiver 27 to 30-ish range for me. Meanwhile, I don't have a problem with Calvin Ridley. He's a locked and loaded top 20 wide receiver for me this week. Thanks for the question, Barney. Follow the life creator. Kevin, thanks. Calvin Ridley or Adam Thielen? Calvin Ridley. Although, guys, can we just root for Bryce Young, please? Can we just root for the guy? Like, I really hope he gets it together. I really do. I really want him to have a strong game. And when he went out there and put up an absolute dud against the worst passing defense in the league, the Minnesota Vikings, I shed a tear. I shed a damn tear. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now. But anyways, yes, I would do that. Let's see. Make Call of Duty great again. Full PPR. I need 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, and 2 flexes. So you're going to start A-Chain and Kyren. Or no. Sorry, I didn't see Hall there. You're going to start Hall and A-Chain this week. You're going to start Waddle and probably Lamb this week. And there you go. Thanks for the question, Call of Duty. Great again. Let's see. Ayuk or Puka? So tough. Give me Ayuk, though. Let's see. Watson or Flowers? Give me Watson. I'm dying over here on the YouTube side, so I'm about to close you folks out tonight. You can keep it going in the TikTok chat. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Guys on TikTok, I'm still rolling. We're going to keep it going. I'm going to play us out on YouTube. So, again, good luck. I'll be live again tomorrow night. I'm still here on TikTok, though, right now. But YouTube, I'll be back on tomorrow night. I appreciate you guys. Have a great night. Peace.